This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to the Zoom Q&A. We're going to try to get through as many questions as possible. Let me just begin. For many people, this is the first time you're making Pesach at home. If you don't mind, just everybody please mute themselves. And if you have a question, you could unmute yourself. Thank you. So, this is the first time many people are making Pesach. And it's obviously much more difficult to make Pesach at home than to go away to a program or to go to your parents or in-laws. But the Sefer Kavayasher brings in the name of the Yesod Yosef, he brings the Kabbalah that he has, that every tircha, every bother, every difficulty that a person endures preparing for the Yom Tov of Pesach, and you tire yourself out and you wear yourself out, in that tiredness you kill all the mazikim. So it should be zechus for all of us that the Rebbe should withhold and prevent from us all the mazikim, and it should bring us tremendous bracha and hatzlacha. Okay, so actually, quite to my surprise, I have a whole booklet here of questions that came in. So we'll try to go through them as quickly as possible. Could the Rav review how to kasher a stove? I believe the Rav said to use a pot and boil. So we use a Comets pot? Do I have to do every burner? Okay, so again, they want to review how do you kasher the stovetop. The way you kasher the stovetop is very simple. You clean the burner, you wait 24 hours, and you put a pot of water on top of it. The reason you put a pot of water is it just spreads the fire over the greatest surface area of the stovetop. Can you use a Hummus pot? You can, provided it's a clean pot that has not been used in 24 hours. So that's the rule for koshering in general. You are allowed to use a Hummus pot to kosher as long as it's clean and has not been used for 24 hours. Do I need to kosher every burner? Absolutely not. Only the burners that you plan to use for Pesach. Okay, next. My wife wanted to know, right? That's how, I'm asking for somebody else. My wife wanted to know if we can use our current hot water urn on Pesach only for the baby and her bottles. We will have a new Kosher for Pesach one for coffee. So the shaila is like this. We already said that one should not use their regular urn for Pesach. And the reason for that is we follow Rav Moshe. Rav Moshe says we don't kosher plastic for Pesach. And the spigot of the urn is usually plastic. And besides that, what happens is when you fill up, when you use hot water to fill up a tradition soup or an oatmeal, then the hot water shooting down into the oatmeal, there's a connection now through the water and the chametz to the urn. Now when it comes to chametz, we say nitzuk is a chibor. And therefore, because we don't kosher the plastic, you have a problem with the urn. So we said you should get a new urn for Pesach. But somebody was afraid that it's a 3-day Yom Tif, and they won't be able to have enough water in their urn to carry out the whole family, and if between them and the baby there's not going to be enough water. So I'm just thinking now, the truth is that you could add water to an urn on Yom Tif, again, provided that it's not an electric urn. Nowadays, most of the urns, some kind of gadget goes on. But if no lights go on, I'm not sure if they even make these kind of it. The old-fashioned urns, you can actually open up and add water to, but you'll be hard-pressed to find one of those today. So they wanted to know... What? There is a Yom Tif mode? Oh, so then... and
the light doesn't go on.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you. Actually, one second. Let me ask my wife. Suri! Hang on. The urn. Do we have a Yom Tif urn on the Yom Tif mode on the urn?
Is that a question?
Oh, no, that's a good. The Rebbitzin says we have a Yom Tif mode on the regular year-round urn, but we don't have one on the Pesach. Okay, so but if you do have one on the Pesach, you could just fill it up on Pesach. So that's another eitzah. But if you don't have that, and we said we don't kosher urns, can you use a chametz sticker urn for the baby? So I said like this: even though we don't kosher urns for Pesach, but we're not going to make you buy 2 urns. So for the baby, we'll let you kosher the spigot, and the way you'll kosher is by pouring hot water on it, and you'll use it only for the baby. But we're not going to let you, adult, kosher the urn for Pesach. Okay, next question. And I see my questioner looking right at me. You know it's you, but I'm not going to say the name. Can you ready? I have a question for the Q&A. Any way to keep open sauces and similar fridge items? Perhaps putting into a closed mark box in the fridge. So this, I realize, is a very common question. We were going through the fridge the other night, and you have like the half a ketchup and a half barbecue sauce and a half mustard and a half of this and a half of that, and it's a shame to throw it out. So the truth is, we did throw it out because sometimes, if it's sitting there the whole year, it just gets achi. But you don't have to. The truth is, you can dedicate a shelf in your fridge or a shelf on the, and you could just close it off and write Hummus and you include it in your mechira. That's okay. You could do that. Yes. Okay, it's amazing. Every time I get up to the question, the guy who's asking comes right into my screen. What's the deal with quinoa? What's the din with quinoa? The answer is, here's the shayla about quinoa. Quinoa is not chametz, but it might be kidneous. The reason it might be kidneous is because it very often grows near wheat and it gets confused with wheat. And therefore we say that it might be kidneous. So here's the deal with quinoa. The deal is, if it has a kosher Pesach symbol, you could eat it. If it doesn't, you can't. Simple as that. Okay. Can a Brita filter be used through Pesach if it has been used through the year? We cannot find a new one to be delivered in time for Pesach. We are also having a hard time finding water bottles to be delivered. This is a tough question. You know the Brita pitcher. I have a Brita pitcher. Now, you who don't have the Brita pitcher, if you need a filter, I actually ordered about 7 filters. It comes in a pack. I'll give you a filter. I'll be happy to give you a filter. But the pitcher, I don't have an extra one. What I say now is only holds true for this year. Don't say last year. You say we're going to, for this year, you could be mekel. Because of the matzav, you could be mekel. The reason is you only use it for cold. Now, the truth is that we have a minhag that we kosher our bechers for Pesach, which means that your year-round bechers, even though it's only used for wine and grape juice, the minhag is to kosher it. It's not an absolute chiyuv, but minhag Ashkenaz is to kosher it. So one would think the pitcher would be the same minhag, but it's not really the same because it's not the cup you drink from, it's the pitcher. So for this year, we're going to allow you, if you could clean it out very thoroughly, and you could clean out the filter. Now the filter is going to be hard to clean because you can't really get in there. But if you feel you could clean it out well, we allow you to use it this year. Okay, what do we do with vitamins and supplements over Pesach that do not have specific kosher lePesach hashgacha? Some are necessary for bowel comfort. Some we take daily for overall health. And want to specifically continue now, because of the virus. Many doctors, actually not doctors, many non-doctors say that vitamins are good for the coronavirus. Most doctors, they don't like vitamins. Even though in the hospitals now they're giving the vitamin C. But most doctors you ask, no, vitamins are not that critical. What do you say, Eliyahu? Vitamins do anything? Eliyahu, no comment. No, he wants to come in. We're going to let him in. We're now bringing, come in, let's go. What do you say about vitamins?
What do I say about vitamins?
Yeah, they do anything or not?
What it is.
What?
It depends what it is.
Vitamin C, zinc, does it do anything or not?
Vitamin C, yes. For COVID, no. Everything I've seen. Interesting.
Even though in the hospitals they're giving vitamin C, you know that?
I don't know. Could be, but I've actually read a study saying that there's no correlation between COVID and vitamin C.
Okay, so it's a big machlekes, right? So here's the issue: when it comes to medicine that you swallow, even if it has chametz in it, it's mutter because that's not a regular way of eating something. So if you have a reason to take medicine means you're prescribed by a doctor. Even if it has chametz in it, you are allowed to take it on Pesach. However, nutritional supplements are very questionable whether they actually do anything. Many people say you take them and they leave your body, within a half hour. So because of the dubious nature of nutritional supplements, we do not apply the leniency that we apply to medicine. Medicine, we say, if it has any chametz in it and you swallow it, it's mutter. Now, if it's a chewable and it has taste or it's a liquid, then even medicine cannot have chametz in it. But medicine that you swallow does not have to be on any list. However, vitamins must be kosher lePesach. Yeah, I want to take the vitamin because of the virus. There's not enough evidence that a vitamin helps to the extent that if it has chametz, you're allowed to take it on Pesach. And therefore, for a nutritional supplement, it must have a hechsher. However, if what? Go for it.
What about melatonin?
Melatonin also. No, also you cannot. It has to be kosher Pesach. Now, if a doctor prescribes it, let's say iron, someone's anemic and they must take iron, then we'll apply the rule of medicine. Let's say someone is sick and they must have melatonin, otherwise they're going to be ill. Then, wait a second. Melatonin that you swallow, I'm talking about. Melatonin that you chew and it has a taste, for sure has to be kosher Pesach. So mellow chews, for sure has to be kosher Pesach. I see Daniel Rafal to everyone, what about senna syrup? First of all, why is Daniel Rafal asking everyone? This is not the shul chat. You send it to me. But the other thing is, if you have a question, get on and ask. I'm not taking these texts. I'm not that advanced. Okay, Daniel? Just speak up. Daniel, you shouldn't be ashamed. This is to speak up in front of, not everybody's able to do it, but it might take some practice, Daniel, but we could do it. Yeah? Okay, so the bottom line is that when it comes to vitamins, nutritional supplements, if the doctor says you need to take it, for example, you're anemic, or for bowel movements, we will be makel and we will allow it. But just because you want to prevent the virus, this is not a sufficient enough reason to, not that it's not a good enough reason, we don't have enough evidence to allow you to take it unless you could ascertain that there's no chametz. So again, if it's for a clear health need, I get that. Okay, fine, then we'll take it from you. Fine. I'm taking selected texts. Fine. So for bowel movements and for anemia, you could take a vitamin. Otherwise, you have to ascertain it's kosher Pesach, and that's very difficult to do. Next question. You ready? This is the leniency of the night. Can silver foil, baking powder, baking paper continue to be used during Pesach if it's been used during the year? Let's say like this. You have, you only used a quarter of your silver foil, and you have 3/4 left. Do I have to go out and buy? It's hard to find silver foil. The answer is you don't. You just take off a tiny piece of the silver foil, you make sure there's no chametz in your silver foil, and you could use the silver foil. The same thing with baking paper, let's say wax paper. You don't have to buy yourself a new thing, you could just rip off a little piece and you could continue to go. Next question. Is it possible to kosher a microwave? Oy vey. This is, what?
I'm sorry, with the silver foil, should we throw out the box that surrounds it? Or you can have just the tube, the cylinder. You have the box. We're usually handling the box.
Do you need to throw it out? I don't know. Wipe it off if you could throw it out. I hear the objective of throwing it out, but if you feel that you handled it with dirty hands, look, you have to be honest with yourself over here. If you've used the silver foil with greasy, grimy, dirty hands and there are crumbs there, I wouldn't use it. But if it's clean, then you have to make sure it's clean. You have to, if you can't determine that, then maybe don't use it. But Meikar Hadin, you don't need new silver foil. Fine, you don't need new baking paper. Is it possible to kosher a microwave? So,
don't you have the same problem as a microwave as the urn?
What? Oh, who was that? Who said that? Shmuel?
Yes.
Okay, that's a very good question. That's really that's a very good question. The question, again, the question is, if I'm saying you need a separate urn, then why have I said that you could kosher a microwave? The truth is, I personally do not kosher a microwave. However, the CRC says you can kosher a microwave. My Rabbeim say not to. But for the most part, for the public, I've been following the CRC. But the question is, how is that consistent with the urn? The urn I'm saying not to use, and the microwave I'm saying to kosher. So here's the basic difference. First of all, you can't kosher glass, so you need to take out the glass tray. And the microwave, the mechanism of a microwave is that nothing inside the microwave gets hot except for the food. So the walls, which if they're plastic, the walls are not getting hot. So they don't absorb to the same extent as an urn. An urn, the hot water is going right through the pipe, right through the spigot. The microwave, the walls are not getting hot. And the walls are not cooking the item. And certainly, and now if you're going to kosher a microwave, which the CRC says you could do, and I would say if you feel you need to use a microwave, for this year, yesh al milismach to kosher a microwave. And the way you do it is as follows. You clean it out, you wait 24 hours, you put a plastic bowl in the microwave, a Rubbermaid bowl with water, you let it boil, you let it overflow, and you let it cook for, let's say, 2 minutes, and your microwave is good to go. And that's the difference between a microwave and an urn, because the microwave is different than an oven. An oven, the walls that are hot are adding to the cooking and contributing to the cooking. A microwave, just the molecules are being acted upon through the mechanism of microwaves. So again, many people don't use a microwave. If your family didn't use a microwave, then I would continue in that custom. But for this year... Okay, we're getting a question from someone's sister. If you don't have a self-clean oven, I don't even know how to... you see, live and learn. For my sister asking me a question over the phone. If you don't have a self-clean or cannot use self-clean on your oven, and you clean heavily, the oven, how long should you keep oven on highest temperature? What do you do with the racks? So I'll say like this. If you don't have a self-clean, it's different than you can't use the self-clean. If you don't have a self-clean, then you turn the oven on to the highest for 500 for an hour to 2 hours. What do you do with the racks? You use an abrasive chemical, you scrape it off, you clean it off, and then you wait 24 hours. However, if you don't have self-clean, you can't put food directly on the racks, you're going to have to cover the racks. If you do have self-clean, you could put food directly on the racks. Now, if you do have self-clean and you don't want to, just do it. But I would recommend you do it sooner than later, because if anything goes wrong, you need some time before Pesach for your technician to come and clean it, to fix it. Now I'm getting some other... What about senna syrup?
Senna syrup allowed?
I don't know what senna syrup is. What's senna syrup?
It's for kids to help them with bowel movement.
What is it made out of? I'm not familiar with that.
I don't know, I guess I'll have to try to find the ingredients.
I don't know.
Senecot for kids.
It's what?
Senecot for kids.
I don't know what it is, but it would have to be kosher Pesach. I assume it's like a syrup that has a taste. Yeah?
It's not an enjoyable taste, but they swallow it.
It's a syrup or a pill?
It's a liquid, yes, it's a liquid.
Syrup? Look, there are other ways to do it. You know, there are other ways of... I'll speak to you privately. There are other ways of accomplishing the same task, yeah? Okay. Next question.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I'm going to open...
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, what?
It's about like an urn / filtered water.
Yeah.
I have in my kitchen a single spout that has hot water. Let's say during the week I use and filtered water. Meaning cold water. So meaning I can't use that filtered cold water on Pesach.
It comes out of the same spout?
Yeah. So I mean the hot water is coming out of that spout too. So meaning it's...
Don't use the hot water. You could use the cold water, don't use the hot water.
Okay.
Unless you could kosher it, but it's not so easy to kosher those things.
There's no way to kosher it. It's built into the counter. So basically...
No. What I'm saying, is there a way to change the aerator or to... It's. I would just stick with. You could use the cold.
Turn off the hot water feature. I could turn off the hot water feature.
So yeah, turn it off. Okay, good. You're good. And clean it out. Yeah. Okay, weiter. Basically, next kasha. Somebody they have cabinets full of hummus pots that they're selling, but in the hummus pots there are crumbs. So they want to obviate the need to clean those cabinets for Pesach. They can. They don't have to clean for Pesach. Whatever drawers or rooms you sell, you don't have to clean. Let's say you say, I don't want to clean my kids' toys. Good, lock them up. That's what we did. We took a lot of toys, we put them in a in a closet, and we locked it up so you don't have to clean it. You don't have to clean any cabinet or drawer that you're selling and you're locking up. Okay. Do I just put signs or like tape? Either one. What about drawers with benchers? Benchers you can't clean from Pesach. Put it with the Comets. Could I use any soap, dish soap? Does soap have to be kosher to Pesach? So we already said, we say it every year and we said it this year as well. All products...
All our benchers need to be... We can't use the same benches we use during the year for Pesach?
Correct. So they're impossible to clean. Okay, put them away with the Comets. Fine. Could you use any soap, dish soap? The answer is... we've said many times that all products are kosher Pesach. Even if there's chametz in it, nobody's eating chveis, nobody's eating Tide, nobody's eating All, nobody's eating Mr. Clean, nobody is eating whatever shampoo, And if you do, speak to me privately. We'll work on that issue. But nobody's eating that. It's not roy lachilas kelev. However, these are the exceptions that do need to be kosher Pesach. Anything that goes in your mouth, toothpaste, mouthwash, lipstick, all makeup is kosher Pesach, as long as what's going on? It says my remaining meeting time 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Really? We might have to do another one. Okay.
I think there's a 45-minute limit on each one.
Really? Okay, we'll deal with it.
Well, with regards to that, so what about deodorant if it's not right?
Deodorant does not need to be kosher Pesach. The only exceptions are anything that goes in your mouth and perfume, cologne, or sometimes deodorant that might have what is called denatured alcohol. Anything that has denatured alcohol is a problem because it's extractable. So just make sure your deodorant doesn't have alcohol and it's good. Perfume, cologne, if it has denatured alcohol, it's not good unless it's manufactured in the United States. Now, soap is an item that goes on your dishes. Now, normally on Pesach we are machmir. This year, because of the matzav, we will be mekel. You could use any soap for Pesach. Weiter. Lipstick. Somebody wants to know, do I need new lipstick or could you wipe it off? The answer is you don't need new lipstick, but you need to skim off a piece. Not just wipe, you need to skim off a piece, and then you could use your old lipstick. Do I need a new washing cup? Here's the thing: if you're going to be, if you wash your dishes with your washing cup, so then you cannot wash your Pesach dishes with it. If you want to keep your washing cup in the sink to wash your dishes with at the same time, then if it's metal, you could kosher it by pouring hot water. Otherwise, most people have a separate washing cup for Pesach. Baby high chair trays, could we just cover it? Yes, just clean it and cover it. What about medications, children's flavored medications? This is a big problem. Children's Tylenol, children's Advil. It is very difficult to ascertain whether this is kosher Pesach or not. And because it has a taste, it has to be kosher Pesach. Therefore, I recommend, today is Thursday, get from your pharmacy Adwi. Adwi is a kosher brand, that's kosher Pesach. Because to deal with the shaila of the Tylenol and the Advil, lots of luck finding somebody who could tell you whether it's kosher Pesach or not. And this is the one thing that has to be kosher Pesach because it has flavor. Okay, what if I left chametz at work before the virus broke out and never went back? Sell it to your local Orthodox rabbi. Now, next question. May I adjust an electric stovetop if it was set before Yom Tov?
I apologize, Rev. I'm sorry. I didn't. That last question. It pertains, I imagine, to. I didn't understand the Rev's answer.
Oh, good, because I don't understand the question.
Comments at where you work, and it's there.
It's there, so you sell it. It's not yours.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay. Could you adjust?
Shiloh on a kitchen item?
Sure.
Okay, it's a show and tell.
Okay, let's go for it.
Explain what it is.
Where are you? Let me find you.
Coming up. Okay, a coffee drip.
I don't see you. You're not. One second. I have to find you.
I'm there. Find the coffee cup.
Coffee cup?
I see you. The coffee drip. It's a drip.
Oh, you're the last. Okay. Yeah.
There I am.
It looks like it's plastic, or is it plastic or metal?
It holds plastic. One second, it's plastic. It was only kosher Pesach coffee for the whole year. Even if it wasn't, let's ask if it wasn't. It happens to be it was. Is this something that can be used on Pesach, even without kosher?
How is it washed?
You put it, it's washed regularly with soap and water, but you use a filter with it.
No, but how did you wash it? Did you wash it with other dishes?
This goes in it.
Did you wash it with other dishes? Did you put it in a dishwasher?
Probably.
So it's not kosher Pesach. What is it made out of?
Plastic.
No, it's not good.
And what if there's a metal one? Sorry, I have so many.
Then you could kosher it. You pour hot water on it.
Okay, this could be kosher.
No, better. I have a better eitzah. 1 second. Are there? Okay, you boil it in a hot pot of water and it's good to go.
Okay.
When you boil with the hot water, do you have to have a metal or a brick inside?
No. A metal and a brick is only necessary when you're koshering a big pot, and you need to get the water to overflow on the edge. So you stick the brick or the metal inside, and it causes the water to overflow on the edge. Okay, I have 5 minutes left. Let me get through the rest of the questions, okay? Actually, I did. I got through all the questions, so go for it. Anybody have any other questions?
I wanted to ask just for the Tylenol for the infant. Is that different if it's an infant or children?
Even for an infant, try to get a kosher brand. If you can't, then come back to me.
Is the Rav worried about Hummus or kidneys?
Comets.
Oh.
It's allowed this year because of the matzav.
So it's an interesting shaila. Rabbi Vadia has a tshuva that Ashkenazim ketanim, since kidneys is only a minhag, so Rabbi Vadia lets under bar mitzvah Ashkenazim have it, but we don't accept that. So is kidneys mutter this year or no? I'm getting a question, Rabbi. What is the proper way?
Can you eat gebrachs this year?
The Rav always eats gebrachs, like the Vilna Gaon Shkoyach. Rabbi, what is proper way to cover a wood table that has direct contact with chametz? The answer is, you clean it with water. If you wipe it down, you clean it with water. All you need is one cover.
Back to the question with stone. Wasn't the stone or metal used to make sure that the heat gets a lot hotter than usual?
We're not makbid on that. It's
the story with Toivel and Kalim this year.
Okay, so Toivel and Kalim has been the biggest controversy. The only thing is, all the Rabbanim, I shouldn't say, all the Rabbanim on one group are all maintaining that Toivel and Kalim is a mitzvah Rabbanan, and either use paper, use aluminum, or go to the ocean. What's a once a year you could go to the beach. Go to the beach.
You could use paper, but I'm saying I never made paste at home, so I bought a pot, a pan.
So you're right. So go to the ocean. Go to the ocean, or go to the park. Go to the park and stick it in the water. You know, when nobody.
Go to David Steiner's backyard.
Yeah. If somebody has an extenuating circumstance, somebody's taka in quarantine and they can't do regular tevilah, then there are eitzos, but it's not being given out. You know, in other words, you need to ask.
I have a solution for the Olam. They can come to 3069 Lawson Boulevard in Oceanside Park by my space and walk 3 steps. We have a river that you have easy access to go and to be toivel there.
Okay, somebody wants to know about Tylenol.
Post that address in the chat.
Tylenol medicine for an infant. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if Adwi makes a kosher brand for infants. I know they make for children. If you can't get for an infant, then if you can't get for an infant, then b'di'eva, what you'll do is you'll be mevatel it in water. In other words, you'll have roiv mayim 2-to-1. Try to do 2-to-1 water to Tylenol. But try to first see if you could get a kosher brand. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Dish towels. You have to use, if it's clean, you have to use new dish towels.
Technically not. You could put in the washing machine and use them.
I just wanted to get clarification on what the rep said about the toys. I mean, either you lock it up. I understood that part, but if you don't, you should.
No, I'm not saying you have to check your toys. You know how it is. The Nashim Tzidkaniyos are often more machmer than what it says in Shulchan Aruch. But okay, we have less than a minute left. So what do? We if you want me to. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a request from somebody regarding open shampoo and soap. So I know the Rabbi had made a distinction between something that goes in your mouth and something that doesn't, but I just wanted to...
Yeah, well, shampoo, so you mean you need new shampoo and new soap? No, you can use your old shampoo and soap.
Old shampoo, old soap. Okay.
Okay. Good?
Also, just to follow up with the Rabbi, with the... I understand to dip it into the ocean and to do that, but there is this list in Queens going around from the bottom of Queens mentioning something about signing up.
So the answer is the Vad in Queens has paskined. The Vad in Queens has paskined you could sell your kalim because they're not near the water. But the Rabbanim in the 5 towns and Far Rockaway have not agreed with that, and a lot of it has to do with the location. Again, if you have a particular circumstance, you're in quarantine, your wife's in quarantine, and it's not realistic, so ask a shayla. There's Yeshal Mi Lismaich, but that's not the party line in our neighborhood.
Like 3069 Lawson Boulevard, Oceanside.
Okay.
What about mouthwash?
Mouthwash needs to be kosher Pesach. Now, look on the list. I think Listerine or Scope, one of the two is definitely kosher Pesach. Adwe makes a brand, but I believe the regular brands you could find very easily they're kosher Pesach. But they do need to be. In other words, just make sure it's on the list. Anything that goes in your mouth has to be kosher Pesach. Your toothpaste, your mouthwash, and for Nashim, for a lipstick. Ma'od, okay?
I'm sorry. Well, let's not. Regarding food that's coming into the house now, for that the kitchen and the dining room is not switched. Food that's coming in now, is there? I mean, things that may be able to get washed or cleaned, or I mean, obviously, if you could just put it somewhere that until it works. But let's say the refrigerator and things that are perishable.
What's the question?
I'm sorry?
I don't understand the question. What's the question?
If it's not food now that's perishable, can I put it in a refrigerator that has not been cleaned yet?
So, the best thing to do is designate a shelf now that's kosher Pesach, clean it out thoroughly, and put your Pesach food there. But it's not recommended to put it in a dirty fridge. I'm getting a question here. Let me see how to access it. Do you need to cover a glass table? Depends. If you're not going to eat on it, you just have to clean it. If you're going to eat on it, if you're eating cold, you don't have to cover it. If you're eating hot, you do need to cover it. But you can't kosher glass. Good? Okay, if anybody has any other questions, please call me or message me anytime. And Hashem should watch over all of us and all of our families. Shmar tzeisenu vayenu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata v'yarelam. Shkoyach everyone. Chag Kosher Sameach. Take care. No.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.